the day that we have been waiting for across Southern Illinois, the hashtag GiveSI. It coincides with the Giving Tuesday every year to help nonprofits bring awareness to their organization and to hopefully raise money that can do good for the upcoming year. I'm going to bring in our next participant in the GiveSI, Camille. Let me bring her in real quick. Hey, Camille, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad. It's gonna be a long day. Your 10-minute interview. I wish that was me. I wish we switched places a little bit here. Um, Tell everybody just a little bit first about the SI Coalition for Homeless, and then there's some questions I'd love to ask and for you to share with some of the other people.
Sure. So the Coalition for the Homeless is our shortened version. We're actually called the Southern Illinois Coalition for the Homeless, or SICH. We've been around since 1989. We have a few different programs, but our signature program, our main one, is supportive housing. And a lot of people don't know what that means. So supportive housing essentially is affordable housing plus supportive services to help people remain permanently housed, to help them become more self-sufficient. We also have an outreach program that goes out to see people who are literally homeless, maybe living in their vehicles, out on the streets, living in parks, wherever that is uninhabitable. And then we also have a Department of Children and Family Services housing advocacy program where we work with families who are experiencing difficulties with their housing, and it relates to child abuse or neglect and having their child return home. So the youth that are transitioning out of care into independent living, we assist them with their housing needs.
So, right here in Southern Illinois, we think we have it pretty good, and I would say we have it pretty good too. But there's definitely a population and a part of our community that is struggling, that needs some assistance and needs some help. For our viewers and people that are going to listen and watch this today, tomorrow, and in the future, how real is the concern and for homelessness in our region?
Oh, it's very real, and we call it the hidden homelessness. Homeless here in Southern Illinois because we have such rural areas or remote areas, and we're such a large geographic area that sometimes we don't see all the individuals and families that are homeless. There are people who are literally living in the woods. They are couch hopping, may stay here one place, one night, and then have to move on. So they don't have a stable place to live. There are people who are their entire paychecks just trying to stay in a hotel. And it's a huge problem, but it's hard to put a number to it because, again, some people are hidden. We don't see them on a day-to-day basis like you might see in more urban areas. And with the cost of living increasing, of course, we're seeing more and more people at risk of homelessness. In homelessness as well as food insecurity. I mean, we're getting a lot of calls for food. We're getting a lot of calls for emergency shelter, someone needing affordable housing because, they just can't keep up with their bills and their costs are going up. So we're seeing a huge increase over the last few years.
And I think it's hard for people to understand. I think we all kind of have that picture in our head of what homelessness looks like. I think that's a real struggle for some of us to battle that. But the reality is, does the image that many of us have match what you're seeing, or is it just people, like you said, getting behind that you would not necessarily think would be struggling? What is that? What is the reality of what that really looks like for families?
Right. There's no single, I guess, look to homelessness. We see people on TV, movies. We see how homelessness is depicted, and that's not to say that we don't have individuals who are chronically homeless, who are experiencing, the tragedy of having to live outside, and people we may see in our communities. But there are so many families that don't have a place to call home. It could be due to domestic violence. It could be due to just something that happened in their lives, a loss of job, a loss of a loved one, someone who becomes ill all of a sudden and ends up with a chronic health issue that can't work any longer, that gets behind in their bills, and all of a sudden they're in a tough spot. So there's really no specific thing that we can narrow down, other than poverty is real, and it's very real here in Southern Illinois, and there's a huge lack of affordable housing. But for those that are more chronically homeless, that might have issues, huge trauma issues in their background, that they may have mental illness, they may be experiencing an addiction, they have chronic health problems. These are the folks that we see maybe more so in the public, that come to our attention, and usually it's unfortunate because they're coming to the attention maybe of the police departments and things too, and when in reality the intervention is more mental health services, more addiction services, and more supportive housing, and that's the nice thing about supportive housing. That is different from what you would consider the normal affordable housing, such as public housing or Section 8. So supportive housing is there to help that individual, help that family with whatever has maybe been a barrier for them, or a need for them. So the housing is based on their income, the way that we work it. They pay a portion of rent based on their income, but then they receive case management services. We have case managers who go in weekly to monthly, whenever is needed, and try to set up some goals around housing stability, and that might look very different for different people. Again, for instance, someone who just got behind in their bills, lost their job, or lost one income in the household, may just need a little bit of time to get back on their feet. Otherwise, they don't necessarily need us anymore. But for others, they may need more long-term support as they try to reach the goal of housing stability. It may be helping them, stay motivated to get up in the morning, to take their medications, to continue with addiction services, to come to the reality that on minimum wage, a minimum wage job isn't going to pay for a 3-bedroom home that costs you $1,000 a month. You may have to look for a better paying job or go back to school. And so supportive housing and the services are very individualized. Again, it could be very minute, but it also could be very in depth. We help a lot of people try to get to that next step of independence through better income, possibly getting a vehicle in their life, going back to schools so that they have a stable income for the rest of their life, finding a place, learning to budget, learning to manage their households. It just is very individualized when it comes to supportive housing. And that's what really works. We've seen it. We know it. We have just a magnitude of success stories that come from supportive housing.
It's amazing. And just for our viewers and the people that are considering donating their time or their money, we're asking for their money today. What will you utilize some of the funds that you receive today and for the Give SI campaign?
Sure. The funds that we raise will basically be used kind of as a stopgap. We are lucky enough to receive grants, state and federal grants, that help with the housing aspects, helping with leasing, helping pay rent, helping with operations, and even services. But where we lack is those things that come up that we can't find money for. So it might be a single mother who has a vehicle and she's doing what she can to get to work, and then she has a tire blowout, or we have people who have had to leave behind everything. They had no place to store anything. So when they start their new household, they may not have everything that you and I have in our household. They may not even have a bed, and we've had families, kids, have to sleep on the floor for a period of time until we can gather enough money or find resources for a bed. And so it may be car repairs, it may be bus passes, it could be just general hygiene items, laundry detergent if they're running short that month, a variety of things that are gonna stop the is a stopgap to those problems that come up that we just don't have a solution for at this moment.
Well, I hope that you raise $1 million. And I know the $1 million probably wouldn't even be enough at times.
Right.
But I hope that what you get today and moving forward, that when people donate their time and their money, that it goes to truly help and impact those in our area. And I hope the other thing for our viewers is just to remember that, man, it's just the basic needs of everything and how everything is so connected, as far as being able to pay bills and having a car and laundry detergent and soap to wash dishes and a bed, all those things that you guys are providing for the people that truly need it to get back up and to get into the situation where they can breathe and relax and then start to really enjoy life, living instead of just reacting to it. So thank you, Camille, for your organization and all the volunteers that you have. I wish you the best today, and get out there and hustle. Try to get people to donate. Hit the tweets and everything on social media, and try to get them to donate to you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.